CFG, Dilworth, Fargo, Moorhead, USA. It's 4 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Another vaccine hurdle cleared. I'm Lisa Brady. COVID shots for younger kids now have FDA approval. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has this live.
Lisa, the FDA has agreed to give emergency use authorization to Pfizer so that 5 to 11-year-olds can be vaccinated against COVID. When asked about the lower vaccination rates of 12 to 15-year-olds as compared to adults, acting FDA Commissioner Janet Woodcock said she knows polls have shown hesitancy among some parents to get kids vaccinated.
As we accumulate more experience with the vaccine, more comfort with the safety will occur.
The FDA said Pfizer's data shows the vaccine is nearly 91% effective in this age group, and that during the pandemic, 8,300 children in this 5 to 11 age range were hospitalized with COVID. At least 146 have died, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. The final hurdle is a meeting of a CDC panel next week. Right now is the deadline for all New York City employees to have at least one COVID shot or be on leave without pay beginning Monday.
New York City says it has contingency plans in place in the event there is a shortage of police and firefighters resulting from non-compliance of the city's vaccine mandate. Union officials, though, are warning that the mandate could very well endanger lives.
Fox's David Lee Miller. Police and fire unions have sued over the new mandate, which eliminated a testing option. It's the final weekend of campaigning in a closely watched governor's race in Virginia. Republican businessman Glenn Youngkin has taken the lead in a new Fox News poll.
People have been saying that this race is tightened up. Well, you know, when
Test 1 2 3. Hi, my name is Reyna. I can talk louder than this if need be. Oh, I don't have the headset on. I can't hear you. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Young people have tripled since the start of summer. Also a fact, vaccines are highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, even from the Delta variant. If you've got questions about COVID vaccines, talk to a doctor, because our kids are irreplaceable. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Big news from Simply Safe Home Security. Okay. Actually, I think the horns are too much. That's better. Big news. The new wireless outdoor security camera is here. Yes, Simply Safe's award-winning home security just got even better, taking whole home protection to a whole new level. Okay, I'm missing the horns. Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera by offering free shipping for a limited time. Visit simplysafe.com today.
A New York sheriff denies anything political in the timing of a criminal complaint against former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo after it unexpectedly went public yesterday.
The Albany County Sheriff announcing the criminal complaint against the former governor was leaked by the city court, where the complaint was filed, hitting the internet in a matter of minutes, surprising basically all parties. The Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple holding a press conference saying while he would have liked to talk to the district attorney first and Andrew Cuomo's attorney as well, things, he said, don't always work out as planned. And we learned the former governor will most likely be spared a perp walk and being handcuffed, according to Sheriff Craig Apple. But he did say that Cuomo would be fingerprinted and photographed when he surrenders after being charged.
Fox's Laura Ingle. Cuomo, who denies wrongdoing, is due in court November 17th on a misdemeanor sex crime allegation. He accuses the state attorney general, Letitia James, of attacking him for political gain as she announced to run for governor today. A country music milestone gets a celebration this weekend.
Country superstars Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are among the acts playing the Grand Ole Opry Saturday night for the legendary show's 5,000th Saturday night broadcast. They'll join Terry Clark, Jeannie Seeley, Bill Anderson, the Gallon Brothers, Vince Gill, and more. The first broadcast of the Grand Ole Opry was in 1925, and it's been on the airwaves longer than any other broadcast medium in the world, making it through the Depression, World War II, and a global pandemic. You can hear the 5,000th show on WSM Radio or watch on Circle Network or the Opry's social media channels. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Atlanta hosts Game 3 of the World Series tonight, about 6 months after the All-Star Game was pulled out of the city in a protest over Georgia's new voting law. The Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros are tied at a game apiece. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Mostly sunny skies for this afternoon. A pleasant day out there with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Winds will be lighter out of the south-southeast, about 5 to 15. A few scattered clouds overnight tonight with lows in the upper 30s. And a cold front approaches the area for the start of your weekend. We'll see increasing clouds, and we'll have an early high in the low 50s with slowly falling temperatures in the afternoon. Remember, you can always find the full forecast at am1100theflag.com. From the Flag Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Everything feels better when you have a bottle of North Dakota Sweet Crude Liqueur. Its smooth cinnamon and spice flavor will keep you warm and relaxed on the inside, no matter what's going on in the world around us. Try the new flavor of Sweet Crude. Sweet Crude Orange. Same smooth finish with a splash of orange. Taste both flavors for yourself at Holly Liquors today from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Free samples of North Dakota Sweet Crude and Sweet Crude Orange today at Holly Liquors on Jet Big Boulevard in Holly. Now that's how you finish a day.
One more.
Welcome to a feel-good, faith-filled, fun, and for me, frazzled Friday. It's been one of those Fridays where you have no idea. Hearing some Daft Punk one more time puts a huge, huge smile on my face because it's been a little bit crazy on this Friday. That's why for me to come in here and sit down with you, the people that I love and I'm so grateful for, we get a chance to just have some fun, feel good with some jams. We've got a very special guest coming up today and talk about some faith things as well. So welcome to the Chris Berg Show, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping America and you fuel better on your drive home today. As I always say, please, as you're driving home, stop into your local PetroServe USA, get some gas, fuel up, but of course, grab some goodies. Someday I'm going to have some cookies here in studio. You can come on over and enjoy some PetroServe USA studios because they are addicting. I'm going to ask my guest that's coming up here in a moment if she's ever had any PetroServe USA studio cookies and see if she's got a response for us or not. Because on today's show, we're actually going to spend the entire hour, and I'm very excited about this. Reyna Bergstrom, she is Ms North Dakota. She's about to participate in Miss America, the 100th year anniversary celebration. And so we're going to have just a great conversation with her just about life, about things that feel good, some faith elements, and whatever else is on our heart. Before the show here, we were having a really nice conversation. And so first off, just thanks so much for being here on a Friday afternoon and helping people feel good and increase their faith and whatever else we do today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's great to be here. I also want to remind people that coming up at 5 o'clock, you're going to stick around. So thank you for that. Because we have our first ever free food at the Flag family going on at 5 p.m. thanks to Casey Joe's Catering. So if you want to show up here, I'll give you the address real quick. It's 2852 Thunder Road South. Again, 2852 Thunder Road South here in Fargo. Just come on over. And thanks to Casey Joe's Catering, we're going to have some food. Ms North Dakota is going to speak a little bit. If anyone else wants to get up and share from their heart, their thoughts, whatever. But it's just really a good time to have some food and fellowship. And you know what? On a Friday, we're all just kind of like, I just need a chance to just decompress, chill out, and be around some really, really good people like Miss North Dakota. So I want to start here because obviously I did some homework on you for this conversation.
All right.
So yeah, if you want to get up by that mic.
Okay, I'll get close.
Because this is a feel-good, faith-filled Friday, one of the things I noticed is you studied communications and religion at Concordia. So I have to ask you, what was your greatest takeaway and why did you take religion as a degree?
Mm-hmm. Well, like you just said, I went to Concordia College, graduated class of 2018. And when I began as a freshman, I honestly had no idea what I wanted to study, Chris. I was thinking potentially pre-med biology. I have a lot of family in healthcare. And so I was always good at school and school came naturally to me. And I just figured, you know what, why not go that route? But then after a few classes, I just realized, you know what, I need to do something more creative. And so I started exploring some different options. I shadowed a lot of different classes and I somehow found communication. And I just found that it was a natural fit. I've always loved public speaking and writing. And that's really what the major was. And then religion, I tagged on there because for me, I've grown up in the faith, going to church, and I just wanted almost an academic lens to that. And I just really wanted to know my faith better through that perspective. And so I'm so grateful for my time at Concordia, and it gave me so much, the experiences, the relationships, and yeah, I'm so appreciative of my education.
Sometimes you meet people that have got certain God-given gifts, and it's such a gift that they don't recognize they have it. Do you recognize that you're a gifted communicator, or is it just?
I mean, it's definitely something that I've worked on for many, many years.
How? What do you mean?
I mean, writing. I don't think that I always was a talented writer, but I had some really great English teachers. Actually, back in high school, I went to Oak Grove, and they definitely were two teachers that really pushed me in that. And then in college, I feel like I just honed in on those skills.
But I
even
mean,
more.
orally, do you understand? Like,
That's been a work in progress. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yes. I mean, granted, I did musical theater growing up. So being up on a stage, speaking in front of people, that's something I always loved, and had a lot of, I gained a lot of energy from doing that. But definitely it's something that I've worked for a long time, and I've practiced.
So when you say worked on your communication, like, what do you mean
Yeah.
specifically?
Yeah. I mean, getting up in front of people. I
I
mean,
see.
public speaking, that's not something that as a little kid I loved to do. I was very shy growing up, and I started playing the violin when I was 4 years old, and that got me up on a stage for the first time. So that definitely helped me be more comfortable in front of people. But as for the speaking part, I think I was terrified of it. I'm thinking about 10-year-old Reyna. That was such a scary idea of speaking to, an audience of 10, 15 people. I mean, 100 people, that was nothing I would ever want to do. And so it wasn't really until high school and then college that I started doing it more. And then I just found that I loved it. And that's something I do quite frequently now, especially in this role as Ms North Dakota.
Producer BG, I'm so bummed right now because I take a lot of pride in the homework that I do. And I didn't know she played the violin. If I would have known that, I would have had you bring it in, and we'd be playing the Charlie Daniels band right now. Like,
Chris,
I went down to Georgia.
That sounds very fun. However, I've not picked up my violin, unfortunately, for a few years. I just haven't, it's the excuse, I haven't had time. I probably could make time if I wanted to, but I focused more on singing and not.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't worry.
I should play it. I really should. My dad actually just last night, he plays the cello, and he was home and playing it. He didn't play it for years either. Because, you just get so busy doing life, going to work, and just going through the motions. And so these things that I think that we love, we just sometimes we're not intentional about doing them. And so I found that's the case with violin. So I wouldn't say I'm a great violinist now because I really just haven't practiced. But it's something that, from a young age, that was the first thing that got me up on a stage and in front of people.
Don't worry, we might give you a chance to show off your pipes at some point within this hour. So be patient, be patient. Because again, it's a faith-filled show, though, I want to ask you just about your testimony. I mean, it sounds like you've grown up in the faith, but
Yeah.
do you have a particular time when you realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to give my life over to the Lord? And I'm curious, did a degree in religion help strengthen that, or did a degree from an academic lens almost make you more agnostic?
It definitely did make me more agnostic. I think it's good to question your faith and ask questions. And for me, that has only strengthened. I mean, yes, I've had moments of doubt. Absolutely. I think that any Christian has. If you haven't, I mean, as humans, I think it's our human nature to be skeptics at times. And I know for me, I often am a skeptic, and that's okay. That's something that I actually come to be proud of, is that I ask the hard questions. And so back to your original question, what is my faith story and what does my faith journey look like? I grew up in a Christian home. My mom, I'd say, is the spiritual leader in our house, and I'm one of 5 kids. So it was always something that we talked about as a family. And we went to church every Sunday, did Sunday school, I guess the typical kind of Midwest things my family did. But then also going to Oak Grove, which is a Lutheran high school. And I actually started Oak Grove in 4th grade, the first year of the elementary school. And so I had Christian studies classes, was going to chapel every single day. And for me, being in that kind of community where we were encouraged to ask questions and to pray and to talk about it was huge and pivotal in my life. And so when I got to Concordia and was trying to figure out, what did I want to study? What did I really want to lean into? I guess I landed on religion because that just was something that was always such a pivotal and big part of my life. And so that more academic perspective for me was great because I had a lot of students in my class, my peers were not necessarily Christians, and they had very different upbringings and backgrounds. And for me, that was challenging, but ultimately was a very good thing in strengthening in my faith.
So best thing you got out of your religion degree that you take into the real world is what?
I think it was those difficult conversations I had with my peers, because in the real world, you are going to have difficult conversations. And that isn't something that I think we should shy away from, but in fact, we should lean into, because, I mean, that's hard too, because that requires empathy and listening, because I think so often in our culture, And across many cultures, we put up this wall when we hear perspectives that is different than our own. But I try to be open-minded and keep that open perspective and really hear that other person where they're coming from, because I think when we do that, that's when we gain a greater perspective and empathy. And I think that is just something that we lack in 2021.
You read my mind. That's why I'm curious if you were right now to say, here's how you practice empathy and would encourage others to be empathetic, because it sounds like you've been bumped up against some of these tough conversations, and right now so many people you bump up against a tough conversation, they just shut off. Like I lost a very dear friend of mine because we have a different perspective on the COVID shot, right? And she has made accusations of me doing things that are ridiculous, right? And so it's tough, and I would prefer to have us come together and say, hey, we don't see the world the same way, but I can empathize with where you're coming. And there was zilch, in my opinion, from her side. So if you were to coach somebody right now in this world as how things are going, I'm just curious, what would you say to, and I talked about this yesterday, so I don't want to share my thoughts. I want to hear from you. How would you encourage people to have more productive, empathetic conversations?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think it starts with pausing and not being the first one to interject. If someone's talking about something that you disagree with, I think our habit is to cut them off and be like, well, actually, no, this is the right thing. This is the truth, when they are stating something that they believe to be the truth. So I think it's taking that moment to really just pause and hold your tongue. We're not good at that. I know I'm not good at that. And I have to tell myself regularly, okay, Reyna, just pause and wait for them to speak their part. And then you can offer your own perspective, and hopefully you can go to a more, just come to some kind of rationale where you're not just arguing. I think arguing doesn't often get us many good places. And so if you can each share your side and that other side is also willing to hear your perspective, I think that would ultimately offer so much good. But we are so poor at that. So I think just really being patient, I think it takes a lot of patience to do that, and just intentionally holding your own tongue until that other side has shared their own perspective. Then you can give your own.
I think it's very powerful, because I think people oftentimes, when you really truly feel heard by somebody, then you've got an opportunity to be gracious, right? And so you're like, oh, this person gets me. Like, okay, I can now maybe get out of my own point of view, my own world, and now offer some grace to them. And now we can start to, still disagree potentially, but at least do it with some grace and empathy. And we said yesterday, we had a situation where there were some people calling a certain place and, doing threats and whatnot. We were saying, like, just lead with love, because at the end of the day, all you're really trying to do is win over hearts and mind. And I don't know about you, but if someone starts yelling at me or saying derogatory things to me, like, my ears just shut off, right?
No, that's what I think most of us do. I mean, no one wants to hear bad things about themselves. It's like, stop it. Like, I'm just tuning you out right now because you're not helping me at all.
I just love your reaction. Like, of course, bro. Which it seems so obvious. And yet how many times a day do you see people that still practice that communication strategy of yelling? And you know what I'm saying? And my point was,
especially on social media too, where it's like, you're not necessarily seeing that face to face. I mean, you're not receiving that. It's all just words. And so you see these chains of all these just such hurtful conversations of people just arguing back and forth. I'm like, what good does that do? People pour hours and hours into these, these comment threads. And they're honestly kind of fascinating to read through, but also very sad, because you just are like, well, what's the good in this? I mean, both people are going to argue their sides until what? Until they prove that they're right. And I don't even know if they prove anything at the end of all that, other than the fact that they love to argue.
It's pretty amazing to watch how cemented some of our views are today. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the journey to becoming Ms North Dakota, and then on to the competition of Miss America. She may even sing, who knows, throughout this show. So we'll see. We do have some great songs for you. And again, you're listening to a feel-good, faith-filled, fun Friday here on the Chris Berg Show. It is coming up on 420. So I want to remind you, if you're out driving around at 5 o'clock today, come join us here at Flag Family Studios, because we've got free food. I mean, does it get any better than that? We got free food here at Flag Family. And Chris, if you can bring up this graphic, or I'll do it here. The address again here, 2852 Thunder Road South, 2852 Thunder Road South, Fargo, North Dakota. Joining us today in studio for the entire hour of Feel Good Friday is the one and only Ms North Dakota, Reyna Bergstrom. If you want to call in and ask some questions, just chat with her. Number to do so, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. You're listening to the Chris Berg Show live from PetroServe USA studios.
Trillions trillions of dollars. Wrap your mind around that. That's what's being pumped into the economy as a result of the COVID crisis that we've dealt with over the last number of months. Jerry Breyer is here. He's been in the gold silver business for decades. Jerry, what are all those trillions going to mean for precious metals?
It's interesting how much $1 trillion is worth. $1 trillion is a million. And when you consider 6 trillion, that's 6 million that has been put into the economy. That is definitely inflationary, and we're going to have a problem with our money system. So the best way to hold on to your assets is to invest in precious metals, because in highly inflationary times, they hold value against inflation.
Do it before you regret it.
Amen.
Generous Jerry, Gold Silver Exchange, Grand Forks. Call 701-746-9950 or 2124 Gateway Drive, Grand Forks.
Where do your friends meet to eat, drink, relax, and socialize? Perham Lakeside Tap and Event Center. Come out, sit on the patio, and enjoy a beverage with friends. Lakeside Tap offers 20 tap beers, daily lunch specials, and is open 7 days a week. Check out their menu and daily lunch specials on Facebook and sign up for alerts. Perham Lakeside Tap and Event Center is the perfect place to meet your friends and the perfect place for celebrations and parties. Lakeside Tap and Event Center, just north of Perham at Perham Lakeside Golf Course.
Prepare your yard for winter at Menards. Rugged wear gloves can handle any project. A 2-pair pack of cowhide gloves is $9.99 after sale price and 11% off. They're great for raking and spiffing up your lawn for trick-or-treaters. Speaking of trick-or-treaters, don't forget it's your last chance to buy Halloween candy. It's all 11% off. Good through October 30th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
During the current inventory challenges, Luther Family Buick GMC has remained committed to offering the same fair value pricing we always have. No outrageous markups, no negotiating required. We appreciate the patronage we've received from our friends and neighbors over the years. With inventory arriving daily, let us help you find a new ride and experience the new Buick today with 0% financing for 72 months on most new models. Luther Family Buick GMC, corner of I-29 and 32nd Avenue South, Fargo. We are professional grade.
You know the NDSU Bison, perennial national college football champions. But do you know the real strength of the herd? Come hear about the motivating force in many Bison players' lives. Discover what changed them and what helped build championship teams at the Harvest Leadership Prayer Breakfast, Saturday, 9 a.m. at the Fargo Ramada Inn. It's a faith story you'll never forget, and you'll be done in time to take in the game. Tickets at Melberg's, Hurley's, Harvest Leadership Prayer Breakfast Facebook page and online at fmvcla.com. Touchdown Bison!
Touchdown Bison. I love that. Hey, Chris Berg here. If you're looking to list your home, sell your home, I want you to take a moment and think about this. What if you could list your home with a flat fee? No matter how much you sell it for, it's just a single flat fee. Could that possibly save you thousands and thousands of dollars at James Patrick Real Estate? Once you go to their website, again, it's James Patrick Real Estate. They've got this really cool, it's like a listing fee comparison tool. So for example, right now it shows, hey, if you were to work with James Patrick Real Estate and you sold your house for, let's say, $250,000, they're actually going to save you. This is just the savings, save you $4,000 when you actually sell your house. Let's say you sell your home for $480,000. That's the beauty of this listing fee comparison tool. I can just click on any number and go, oh, okay. But it shows here at $480,000, you would save over $10,000 with James Patrick Real Estate because it's a single listing fee of just $3,500. There's a bunch of testimonials up on their site as well. Go check that out. But again, James Patrick Real Estate, honest advice, proven results.
Benny and the Jets.
Come on, you sing.
A little bit more husky than I prefer to be.
Benny and the Jets.
I'm gonna have food. You know I'm ready and I'm back. Oh.
Chris Berg Show, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better, especially on the drive home today here on a just feel good Friday. I want to remind you to come on by here at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. We've got free food at Flag Family Media. I know. Does it get any better? I actually, and again, this is thanks to Casey Joe's Catering. I had a chance to visit with her. I have no idea what we're going to have. We could have surf and turf. We could have popcorn. We could have, so I'm sure it's going to be delicious, which, yes, I love surprises when it comes to food. So join us here throughout the entire Feel Good Friday. We've got Reyna Bergstrom. She is now Miss North Dakota and getting ready to compete in the 100th year of Miss America. So just want you to know, because you are a gifted communicator, we've got just a few minutes here till about 4:30. So that time will fly. But if you don't mind, I think share with people your experience becoming Miss North Dakota, because my understanding is it wasn't like, hey, I just showed up and the crown popped on my head. And
No, it was nearly 7 years in the making. And really, it extended beyond that, because I feel like really my entire life I've been kind of prepping for this role, because I think in so many ways why I've loved it is that it really uses a lot of my gifts and what I love to do. And the Miss America organization, that's the mother organization of the Miss North Dakota organization, is something that I have come to just really respect and grow to love. And so my journey began, what I originally said was 7 years ago. I was a freshman at Concordia College. And as you are well aware, college is expensive, and the Miss America organization is the #1 provider of scholarships to young women in the United States. And so as a freshman at Concordia, my good friend, Fargo native Jackie Arness, she was Miss North Dakota at the time. She's the last Miss North Dakota to be from Fargo, actually. She reached out and asked me if I wanted to compete in a local competition. And I didn't know anything about the world of pageants. And I'm going to say that in quotes, because actually the Miss America organization now wants us to transition from using that terminology and just call it a competition, because they want it to be more relatable and real. They don't think that pageants always, that terminology doesn't always relate with people, but for the sake of the conversation and just, I mean, it is the history of the organization, is that it was for so many years the Miss America pageant. That's what it's known as. Anyway, that's a whole tangent in itself. So Jackie reached out to me and told me, hey, Reyna, like, I think you should do this. I think this organization has something that you could really gain from. And the service components, the interview skills, the performance opportunities that can come from doing it. That's all things that you love to do. So why not do it? Why not just give it a shot? And so 3 days before the Bismarck local competition, I signed up. And I really, other than knowing that, the elements of competition, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But it was a frigid Saturday in February of 2015. I ended up winning that local title. And they told me once I won that I was going to the state competition. And I said, oh, okay, well, what does that mean? And they just said basically, well, it's like this, but just a little bit bigger. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And so June of that year of 2015, I competed my first time at Miss North Dakota. And I just really fell in love with the community. And it was a week long. They always have it out in Williston. And community is so supportive of the competition every single year. And so that first year competing, I was so blessed. I placed second runner up, and I was thrilled because I received some great cash scholarships that I was able to apply to Concordia, but then I was also able to go back to school and just focus on school. So that first year really just got my feet wet a little bit. And then I came back my sophomore year, same thing. I competed in a local competition. And then they told me again, you're going to state, because I won a local title. And so I went to state again for a second time, and I again placed second runner up. And, again, I was thrilled because, yes, I wanted to win, but I also felt in my heart that I just wanted to focus on school. And so I then decided I was going to take a break. And so I took a couple years off. And then in 2019, I decided I wanted to come back and just really give it my all, because I felt that it was finally my time. I graduated from Concordia, and I just felt that, it just felt like it was right. The timing was finally right. I was 24 years old, had about a year left of eligibility, because the age bracket for competing is 18 to 25. And so I did it. I came back, I competed in a local competition, won a local title, and again was told, Reyna, you're going to state. And I went to state and I got first runner up. And honestly, I was devastated because I'd worked so hard for this, just preparing for the competition. And really it is a mind game in so many ways. And I'm looking at the clock right now. I probably have about 20 seconds, but to wrap this up, I'm just going to say, I decided to come back one more time. And that fourth time finally was the time. I mean, COVID was in there, and it extended it to a year and a half in the waiting that I was just preparing for Miss North Dakota. But in June of this year, I finally won. And so it was many, many years in the making, but I'm just so thrilled that I finally this dream of mine became a reality, and I get to serve in this role for this coming year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll touch on her platform, but also I might even act as if I'm one of the questionnaires at Miss America.
Oh,
So we might have a few Miss America type questions and see how that goes, what the response is. It'll be fun ones, but we'll see what happens here. So she's like, okay, Chris, wow.
Oh boy,
look at my phone is ringing. I have to leave all of a sudden. Tomorrow, we still have one more minute. Okay, so tomorrow morning, I want to share this with you. This is fantastic. It's a Harvest Leadership Prayer Breakfast, all about the Bison football team. Bison players show up and just probably, I'm assuming, talk about their testimony and their faith. But this is tomorrow morning. It's 9 to 10:30 a.m. It's at the Fargo Ramada Inn, which is on 13th Avenue South. So again, Harvest Leadership Prayer Breakfast. I think tickets are like $20. You can get them at FMV as in Victor, CLA.com. FMV as in Victor, CLA.com. 9 to 10:30, come out, hear some great testimony, be around some great people, excuse me, and just enjoy a nice Saturday morning Harvest Leadership Prayer Breakfast. All right, when we come back, more from Ms North Dakota, maybe even a few Miss USA type questions. And this is the Chris Berg Show on a Feel Good Friday, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studios.
Mostly sunny skies for this afternoon and mild for this time of the year. Highs in the mid to upper 50s with south-southeast winds about 5 to 15. A few scattered clouds overnight tonight with lows in the upper 30s. And a cold front approaches the area on Saturday. We'll have an early high in the low 50s and then falling temperatures later in the day. That will lead to a cooler Sunday with highs in the 40s. Remember, you can always find the full forecast at AM1100theflag.com. From the Flag Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Your garage door seen better days? Maybe it's making funny noises, or you hesitate to walk under it while it's opening up. You know, winter is coming, and Garage Door Solutions can help you pick out the right door for your garage. Garage Door Solutions is locally owned and been helping people get the right door installed for homes, businesses, and apartments for more than 20 years. So whether you need a new door or your garage door needs repair, talk to the pros at Garage Door Solutions or find out more online at FargoGarageDoor.com.
You can build a solid future with Strata Corporation. If you're interested in becoming a member of a team in a strong, growing company with a high level of integrity, commitment to safety, innovation, quality, and service, serving with excellence, you'll love Strata Corp. Competitive wages, full benefits. It's a career, not a job. Become a team member with an organization built for you. Find out more at stratacorporation.com/careers.
If your company is looking for the perfect place to stay in Fargo and Grand Forks, you should try the Sleep Inn & Suites, a delicious full hot breakfast along with the friendliest hospitality in North Dakota. The team at Sleep Inn & Suites have a new first-time corporate deal of $55 on a standard room and only $65 a night for a suite. Good Monday through Thursday. Just call and speak with Dennis at the Sleep Inn & Suites Fargo about the details. 701-492-6245.
We're at Kindercare in West Fargo talking with Judy, whose mother is here, to find out what kind of experience they've had as a family.
Mother has been here about 4 years. Kindercare is an answer to our prayers. Here she is part of the family. She's never in her room alone. She's just out with everyone. I can join in on every activity with her. They send me videos of her. I just can't say enough. She's so very well kept here.
Visit KinderCareFargo.com or call 701-3246 for a tour today.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the North Dakota Army National Guard. Aired by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association at this station.
Murphy's in South Moorhead is a great place to celebrate after a game or watch games on Saturday and Sunday. Murphy's is becoming known for their fresh, delicious, made-from-scratch pizzas. You should try their pizza lunch buffet on Fridays. And they have an awesome selection of wing sauces to enjoy when you're watching a game. Plus, ask about their all-day happy hour on NFL Sundays, where they carry every NFL game live on their TVs. Murphy's Pub and Grill in Moorhead, open 3 to midnight Monday through Thursday and open at 11 Friday through Sunday.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show here in a feel-good, faith-filled, fun Friday. As you're wrapping up the week, you can come hang out. Somebody last week texted me, and they're like, oh, Chris, this is great. It just feels like a big radio hug. So if you've had a long week and you need a hug, this is the place to be. We're having a great show. Coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America feel better on that ride home. Want to remind you, as you are heading home, stop into your local PetroServe USA, gas up, and grab some delicious goodies. All right, we're about 24 minutes away from free food at Flag Family Media. And isn't that nice? Like, it just is kind of like, hey, we're going to just hang out on a Friday and enjoy some grub. So please come on by. Chris, we can put this up here again. I will grab it, but the address here is 2852 Thunder Road South, 2852 Thunder Road South here in Fargo. I want to say thank you so much to Casey Joe's Catering for taking care of this wonderful food as you come and hang out with Reyna Bergstrom, Ms North Dakota. She's live in studio. She's going to be hanging out with us as well, having some food, and we'd love to see you face to face and just kind of chat. Also want to remind you, this is fun because producer Chris Larson wanted me to share this with you. Help us help you with the Chris Berg Show tip line. So if you've got something you want us to dig into, uncover, go after, please let us know. The number there to call in, you can leave us a voicemail, 855-200-1776, and then it's extension 6. So 855-200-1776, extension 6, or just email chris.larson@flagfamily.com. All right, Reyna Bergstrom here in studio. If you want to call into the show, 701-271-1100. Are you ready for some Miss America type questions?
Oh boy, I hope I am. We'll see.
So just so everyone, there's nothing planned here. I'm just sort of making this up. But as listening to you today, I did want to ask you, so what would you say is like the biggest challenge? I don't even know if you've had this because you're pretty like low point in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Miss America type question?
No, I mean, that's a deep question because you're asking me like what has been really kind of the biggest struggle in my life. And I think about my lowest points, and they were seasons of loneliness. I think that loneliness is the worst emotion to feel as a human. And I think that loneliness, so many terrible things can stem from that emotion. When we feel isolated, when you feel like no one is there for us, when we don't feel cared for, those seasons are scary. And I absolutely have felt that way. I know growing up, I went to, my elementary school class was always very small, and I was one of 5 girls oftentimes, and there was always 2 sets of best friends. So I always felt like the odd one out. And granted, that's a little kid Reyna, but I remember feeling, playing at recess and just feeling like, wow, no one wants to be my friend. And I think that kind of background and perspective now into this role, I try to be so intentional about including people, making people I just want to make people know that they belong and that they have purpose here, because everyone does. And I think that so many of us don't feel that way in our everyday lives. And so back to your question, just seasons of loneliness that happened throughout college a few times. That happened in high school too, where I just felt like, who are my people? Where do I fit in all this? And why do I feel alone right now? But I think in those seasons too, I was reminded that I do have friends. I come from a big family. My family was there for me, but that is something that I think so many of us struggle with in life, is feeling alone.
Can we dive into this? Because anyone who's watching the live stream, honestly, I didn't know what you were going to say that, of course,
I don't
right?
either.
The absolute last thing on my list, when I see you, I'm getting to know you, I hear you communicate, you seem very vivacious, a great, like for you to pull loneliness out of the bag was the last word I thought you would drop on the mic right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you attribute that to? What, like, is it just you were trying to feel like, where do I fit in? Or you just felt like, because I know you're an artist, and sometimes artists can sort of walk through this planet almost like a pilgrim, like, yeah, I'm here, but I don't really fit in here. Is that like, so?
I think I put out this image that I'm very outgoing and I love to be with people, which I do, but I think that's half of Reyna. I think there's this half of Reyna that is actually quite introverted. I mean, I said growing up, I played the violin, that it was scary for me to be up on a stage in front of people, but because I did that so many times, I grew comfortable doing it and I grew to love it. But there's the side of me that's very artistic, that loves to write, that loves to paint. That's my introverted side. That's my side that really is reflective and doesn't always like to be outgoing. And that's okay. I've come to terms with that because that's something that I didn't used to always tell people or want to embrace. But with that side of myself, the side that was more reflective and introverted, I think that's where feeling alone and just getting in my head. I think that's something that.
Were you trying to understand like what's my purpose here?
Yeah.
That's,
Well, I mean, we're all trying to understand our purpose, but also just trying
so have you
to.
figured yours out?
I mean, it's an ongoing journey and pursuit.
Where are you at with it right now?
I feel pretty good right now. I'm getting
but
to
I
serve
mean-
in this really cool role as Ms North Dakota this year. So I think it's pretty, for me, it's quite obvious what my purpose is this year. I'm here to serve people. I'm here to be a resource to share my message about inclusion and communication. We'll get into that in a little bit, just about what I'm really trying to share this year. But beyond this year, I think a little bit of it is scary is because I don't necessarily know what the next 5 years are going to entail.
It's so beautiful how God works, because just so our audience knows, we've got three TV screens here in the studio. And as we were coming back, there was a piece on Fox News about Facebook changing to metaverse. And I saw that and I kind of chuckled. I was like, oh, I need to ask her about, metaverse. But I wanted to go to this question first. And then you drop loneliness. And I was like, okay, like didn't expect that, but God bless you and thank you for sharing. Because I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially that now we're talking about. Did you ever see Ready Player One? Steven Spielberg?
I've heard of it.
You
Yes.
have to see that. Phenomenal film. Anyways, then you get into this metaverse thing and how so many people, especially over COVID and Zooms and social media, I think are really struggling mental health wise with loneliness. So the second part of my question was, what did you do to overcome it?
I think for me, I've leaned into my relationships and been intentional about reaching out to people when I do feel alone, calling someone up, not just texting them, but calling them or FaceTiming them and actually talking with them. I think that is so important. And, the strange thing about social media is that it exists to inform and connect us and inspire us and all these really positive things. But like any tool, it can be used not necessarily always for good. And I think for many of us active social media users, we find when we spend all these hours on these platforms, we actually feel very isolated, which I think anyone and everyone who uses social media can say that to be true. And so I think it just is important to realize when we are, just scrolling and grazing social media, that if we are feeling alone and we're feeling isolated, get off your phone and just go do something. Go for a walk. Go play with your dog or your animals. and
So
just
were
get out.
you vulnerable enough when you would call these people and say, hey, I'm lonely, I'm just calling, I need to connect? Or
With my close relationships, yes, absolutely.
you.
I'd be telling them, hey, and that takes courage to do that
Yeah.
and open up, be like, hey, like I'm really struggling right now. But I think when we do have courage and when we do open up, I feel that we rarely regret it. And granted, you have to know who you can trust in those situations. So don't just open up to anyone. Open up to the people who are really there for you.
Did you ever think of turning to like substances to help medicate that? Or is that never just part of your world? Or
For me, I don't think I ever got to a point where I needed to be on medication. I know for many people, medication is great.
but I don't mean pharma, I mean like drugs, alcohol,
Oh,
like
no, not for me. No, no.
that's good. I mean, some people they can't
Mhm,
spin out of that, you know what I
right,
mean? So
and I'm
in
not
fact, you were-
judging anyone who
You were
does.
just at Recovery Reinvented, I think,
I
earlier
was
this week.
Monday,
Yeah.
yes, with Governor Bergstrom and First Lady
So
Catherine
speaking
Bergstrom.
about empathy, what did you pull out of that event being there?
Oh, it was a powerful event because they had all these people telling their stories of recovery and addiction and how they really have moved past this in their life. One of my biggest takeaways was what I kind of already just said, but having courage to share your own story, because that eliminates the stigma, and that's the only thing that's going to change the narrative and eliminate shame in our culture.
So your purpose is?
Back to the original question. My purpose is always going to be to, number one, be a good friend, and my relationships in my life are the most important thing. So to be a good sister, a good daughter, a good granddaughter, a good friend. I mean, for me, that's always going to be first and foremost in my life. So if I'm doing that, if I'm investing in my relationships, that for me gives me such purpose. I hope that's always the case.
God bless you for saying that. Because this week, as I'm sure you know, Ace Brandt, we lost Ace Brandt late last week. But that's what he said, when he was going through his last few days, he's like, I really wish that I love my work, but I also wish I would have invested more time in relationships. And you hear that so often from people that are in those last few days. So I do want to get your take, though, honestly, on this whole metaverse thing. Are you into? I mean, you're into tech because you do digital.
I do. When I was at Concordia, actually, I haven't talked about this, but I worked 3 years on the marketing team at Concordia, and I managed all their social media. And so social media is very much a part of my life. And even as Ms.
You're
North
good
Dakota,
at it.
I enjoy it. I do. But granted, some days when you just spend your day on a screen, that's not fulfilling. So my perspective on all this, I think it has to be balanced. And you can't just be spending all of our time on these digital platforms because that's not ultimately going to fulfill us.
So are we better or worse off because of social media as a society?
I don't know if I can answer that question because I see the positives and I see the negatives. Right now, I think so many people are focused on the negatives of it, but I do see the positives that it brings in our life. For me, it's been such an amazing educational tool and way to meet people. I've met many people through social media, and my two best friends, one lives in Finland, one lives in Australia, and I'm able to continue talking with them and being with them on these social media platforms. So it's hard. You ask that question, I can't just give an answer in one sentence because it's multiple things.
That's fair. That's the other question I wanted to ask you, and you and I start going down these rabbit holes and I forget. So the other one I want to ask you is, I did read that you like to travel.
I do.
So I'm curious, what's the favorite city you've been to and why?
Oh, goodness.
Or place?
I'm going to say the Flathead Valley of Montana. I worked 4 summers out there at a Bible camp, actually. And this camp was located about an hour south of Glacier National Park. So in the mountains on this gorgeous mountain alpine lake. And for me, I experienced such growth working out there at a Bible camp and just fell in love with the outdoors, with hiking, with being in nature. I hadn't really done that. I mean, growing up in Fargo, you can do that to an extent, but really hadn't spent hardly any time in the mountains before that. So the Flathead Valley, Montana, Kalispell specifically, Big Fork, that's where I really love to be.
And your biggest growth in those summers was what?
I worked with kids every single day.
I mean, you grew as a person because you understood like service or what?
Service, and also I was a part of a community. My fellow staff really challenged me to really be intentional about just living every day to its biggest potential. I mean, we hardly spent any, it's interesting because we just talked about social media, but those summers at camp, I hardly spent any time on a screen because I was just so present with people and just so willing to really be wholeheartedly present and just hearing people's stories. I mean, I think that's so much, my perspective on life is so much, I draw back from my camp experience because for me, that was really what living should look like in an ideal world.
Love that. So camping is your ideal world.
Well, the camp
At the Four
community,
Seasons. At the
not
Four
necessarily
Seasons.
camping in a tent, but like when I say camp, I mean working at a camp where we're doing intentional activities and singing songs and playing.
I mean, like, Chris, I'm camping at the montage. Yes, that's what I mean by camping. This has been great. We have one more, so I want to talk about your platform, and then we'll talk about Miss America. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that sounds great. Both those things can dive into.
If you are just joining us, Ms North Dakota, Reyna Bergstrom is here in studio on our feel-good, faith-filled, fun-filled Friday. And praise God for that, because I've had a frazzled Friday, so I needed a time to just sort of sit here and be present and hang out with you and Reyna and just have some fun. I want to remind you, coming up here in just, 12 minutes? 12 minutes. Get in your car right now. Come and join us at 2852 Thunder Road South, because there is free food. Yes, I'm not making that up. Free food here at Flag Family Media from 5 to 6:30. You can come hang out with us. Reyna, and again, I want to say thank you to Casey Joe's Catering. Casey Joe's Catering. The food's delicious. I don't know what we have in store for you yet, but I just know that they do a great, great job. So come hang out. We got a few more minutes to wrap things up here on the Chris Berg Show, coming to live from the PetroServe USA studios.
If you have college kids in town this fall, or you are a college student yourself, you have plenty to think about. At Fix It Forward Auto Care, they know if your vehicle or college student's vehicle breaks down, it's a hassle, whether you live in the FM area or not. That's why they have the convenience of text-based estimates and payments. They work hard to keep their shop safe and clean. And you can trust them to work on your car like it was their own kid's car. And if your student needs an oil change, you get $20 off with a college ID at Fix It Forward Auto Care, with locations in Fargo and Moorhead.
Hi, Jeff from A Cutting Edge, and folks, guess what? We have secured a great parcel of diamonds. There are rounds, ovals, radiants, pear shapes, marquees, cushions, every shape you can imagine. And we got a tremendous deal. So that means we're passing it on to you. Come to A Cutting Edge, where you're going to save more money than you ever have before on the best diamonds in the world. A Cutting Edge, 4507 33rd Avenue South, right here in Fargo.
H.A. Thompson & Sons, helping people for over 100 years save money
by doing it right the first time. Now they build unique maintenance programs that apply a financial and mechanical solution to lower your owning and operating costs. They didn't like the old model in the industry, which was providing services and billing hours for repairs instead of getting paid for making your equipment run more efficiently and reliably. H.A. Thompson & Sons can tell you more. Call them at 223-3393, 701-223-3393, or at hatandsons.com. Mike Lindell has done it once again. A MyPillow for $19.98. Are you kidding me? That's right. Mike Lindell has an amazing offer for our listeners on his standard MyPillows. A standard MyPillow, regularly $69.98, is now only $19.98. There's all kinds of deep discounts right now on all MyPillow products, the MyPillow towels, the sheets, the mattress toppers, the slippers, and so much more. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on that radio listener square, and get this deal, $19.98 for Mike's standard MyPillow, or call 800-506-9028. Just use the promo code Scott at mypillow.com or call 800-506-9028. Made in the USA, comes with a 10-year warranty. You know it's going to last, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Nothing to lose. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Scott, or call 800-506-9028 right now. mypillow.com, promo code Scott, or call 800-506-9028. Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but actually does something about it. America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now. Get free activation with the code FLAGFAMILY. Switching is easy. Go to patriotmobile.com/flagfamily. patriotmobile.com/flagfamily, or call 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT.
What a friend we have in Jesus.
Chris Berg Show, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio here on a feel-good, faith-filled, fun Friday. And now I can say free food on Fridays at Flag Family Media. So coming up here in just a few moments, we've got some free food. Thanks to Casey Joe's Catering. If you want to swing on by and just hang out with us. And, excuse me, Reyna Bergstrom, Ms North Dakota, is going to be joining us as well. She's been in studio the entire hour just sharing her story and talking about the pathway to Ms North Dakota. Some other fun stuff as well, I would say.
Yeah, a few things.
So let's talk about your platform. And we've got about 5 minutes or so left. Your platform. And then, like, what are you most excited about? And what are you most nervous about with Miss America?
Oh my gosh, so much to say in such a short amount of time. So
This is practice, remember?
yeah, this is good practice for Miss America for sure. My social impact initiative is called the Influencer Era Impact Beyond the Screen. And it's all about the idea of in-person connection and communication. And like I've said, while I realize that social media is this powerful tool for connecting with people, we need the real thing more than ever before. And especially coming out of this pandemic, I think all of us can agree that we've missed that. We've missed being with one another. And so I really want to encourage kids to get off their screens and just spend time with each other, make memories and try new things and just get off your phone. I mean, that's so easy to say, but actually doing it, I mean, technology is addictive. And so I just really believe that, we have the ability to be influencers beyond the screen. I mean, that's the title of my social impact, but really, we live in this influencer era. These influencers we follow on social media are phenomenal, but really we can be influencers in real life too. And so that is the message I want to share with kids. And so
Wait. Do you hear that?
Okay.
Do you hear that? That is people in their cars right now just going, thank you, Reyna. Thank you. That is exactly what we need.
Honestly, I can feel it. People right now are going, yes. How, like, are you going to open up a consulting business and like coach families
Who knows?
and kids? Or
Good question. Beyond this year, I'm not sure what is in stores. So potentially.
I'm a really good agent.
I'll remember that, Chris.
I just love that. I had no idea. And then we're talking about metaverse and all this stuff. So fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's relevant, especially right now.
So we've got a few minutes left. Gosh, we need to have you back to talk about this. Get off the screen.
I know I told you, I'm like, I could talk a lot longer than just a couple more minutes.
Can we have you back there to talk about Get Off the
I'd love
Screen?
to come back.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so, what are you most excited about? What are you most nervous about when it comes to the Miss America pageant?
Yeah. So Miss America is about 5 weeks away. I am so excited to represent our state. I'm from North Dakota, grown up here, spent most of my life here. And so it is just the greatest privilege and opportunity to be able to represent our people on a national stage. And so I am thrilled for that opportunity. Also just really excited to get to know the other candidates from all the other states. I think it's really cool that now I can say I have a friend in every single state. Not many people can say that. And so for me, it's always been about the relationships, because I know beyond this year, that's what I'll take with me, is this relationships, these friendships I make with these other girls, and not just other girls, but the volunteers within this organization and the people I get to meet every single day and on these appearances. And that is something that is so fun for me. And so I'd say those two things for sure, the relationships and just being able to represent North Dakota, my home.
Are you nervous about anything?
I think I will be definitely during competition week. I think that nerves and just being in an environment where other girls are nervous, I'm sure that will rub off on me to an
Are
extent.
you singing or what are you going to do?
I'm singing. Yes, I'm singing opera. And so for me, that's
Wait. What?
I'm singing opera. Yes, I'm singing the habanera from the opera Carmen. And for me, that's actually the least. I'm not nervous for that, just because I've grown up performing and
Can
singing.
you give us a taste of your opera skills?
Oh my goodness. You'll be able to tune in on December 16th and maybe I will make top 10 and get to perform my talent. But right now, Chris, like I told you, I'm getting over a cold. And so I want to give my voice justice.
That is, that's why I love these conversations. I had no idea that we could have went so many different directions and we only have so much time. So
That's quick. Yep.
I've got about a minute left. So I'll give you 45 seconds for the last word.
All right. Like I've said, I'm just so excited and thrilled to be Miss North Dakota this year. I think this is a role where you really get to touch so many people's lives. And that's something that I don't take lightly, but I remind myself every single day. And so I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to have this kind of reach ever again in my life. And so it's 1 year. And I really plan and hope to maximize that year. So I'm just so grateful that I get to do it and I get to be really a servant for North Dakota and to get to serve our state in this capacity with, a sparkly hat on my head some days, but some days not either. So I'm just really, truly grateful.
Thank you for coming in, being on a feel-good, faith-filled, fun Friday. And most importantly, just thank you for being vulnerable. Last word that I thought would come out of your mouth is loneliness. And you went there, and I'm very grateful to you for doing that, because I think a lot of people can go, whoa, really? Even for her? Okay, then I'm okay feeling that way. And then you gave us some ideas on how to overcome that, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What a great show. Holy cow, that go by fast. All right, come down and join us here for free food at Flag Family Media. Again, the address is 2852 Thunder Road South from 5 to 6:30 p.m. I want to say thank you to Casey Joes, and yes, celebrate. Is that opera? Good times. Come on. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.